In this video, I thought I'd do a quick review of this Class 381 by Trix. It's a ZSSK livery model, which is a Slovakian railway company. The reason I bought this model is because I like to browse the sales in some of the European shops, like Model Barn Shop Lippe and Model Barn Union. And this model came up, it were under £150 and it's got sound fitted. So I thought it'd be interesting to see what you get for under £150 with sound. So I've already opened it up. I've already done a speaker upgrade on it as well, which I'll show you in photos. The speaker that came with it wasn't very good at all, to be honest. It was quite crackly, even on low volume. So I wasn't particularly happy with it, but it was easy enough to change, and with the new speaker in, it actually sounds quite good. One of the things that's maybe slightly disappointing is it's one of Trix's own brand decoders, so I can't really do anything with it. The sounds that are on there are the sounds that are on there. I can't add anything with my lock programmer. So for example, it doesn't have a flange squeal sound, which I usually like to use, but it doesn't really matter. It still sounds pretty good. It's still got a decent range of sounds. I'll put the function list up on the screen so you can have a look. But you've got some nice announcements. You can use things like door sounds if you want, if it's on passenger trains, which I think these locos only work passenger trains anyway, to be honest. You've got a nice horn and a short horn. There's some automatic sounds as well, like air release, similar to what you get on ESU decoders. So all in all, actually, it's not bad. Quite impressed with the sound of it. And the actual model itself, I'm really impressed with certain aspects, and then some feel like they've kind of not gone to as much trouble as they should have. So the first thing to mention is that the body is die cast, so it's actually really heavy, and the mouldings are really crisp and nicely done. So obviously you've got some plastic details on top and stuff, but the actual body itself is all made of metal, so I'm really impressed with that. The details are good for die cast as well, because sometimes things like the sides, similar to a British Class 67, these, where they're kind of ribbed, things like that on die cast can sometimes be lost a bit, but these are really crisp. So yeah, I'm impressed with that. Definitely think it's well made from a body point of view. The chassis though feels like one company made the body and one made the chassis. So the chassis is fairly chunky in terms of its moulding, which is obviously plastic. I don't think the detail's as good as what it could be. Some of these moulded parts, they could have transfers on them and stuff. Kind of what you might expect to see on British models. You'd have like all the little warning signs on the chassis and stuff, so it's a shame they've not gone to trouble of doing that. And you don't get any kind of detailing packs, so you can't put like a detailed buffer beam on. When I was looking at pictures, the little plough thing at the front is supposed to be yellow, so they've not bothered to try and replicate that in any way either. In terms of running though, the model's got sort of a motor in the middle with a flywheel and drive shafts, and I've got no issue with that, that's really good. But the motor itself isn't very good. It feels like the cheapest type of motor that you'd maybe find in like a toy or something. Just doesn't seem a good enough motor for the quality of this model. So I think they've definitely saved some money there, and I've experienced some running problems with it, and I don't know if it's down to the settings on the decoder or the motor. It seems to happen more when it's getting hot, and it is a particularly warm day, but I'll show you a little bit of that at the end of the video. But yeah, that were a little bit disappointing. But all in all, like I say, for £150 or just under, I think I paid for it with sound, I'm fairly happy with it. If I'd paid the RRP, which I think is nearly double that, I think I'd maybe be disappointed with certain aspects of it. But anyway, I'm going to show you it running around the track, and you can have a listen to it and see what you think. And I'll show you the problem with the running at the end.
Brezino Zastávka, Svätý Jur, Bratislava Rača, Bratislava Vinohrady, Bratislava Hlavná stanica, Devínska Nová Ves a Malacky. Pravidelný odchod 14 hodín 24 minút, príde k nástupišťu 1.
The instructions that the model comes with are fairly basic as well, so you get a function list and then you get one page of CVs which you can change. I have a feeling that these CVs may be the problem with the running of the loco. I think if I could adjust the back EMF, for example, I could probably sort out the running, but there's nothing on this page that tells you how to do it, so if anybody knows, I'd be interested. But otherwise, I'll just keep running the loco in and see if it improves. Thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a like below so that I know that people like this type of content, and it also helps more people find it if they've not seen my channel before.